Okie dokie, friends, we are going to multiply 98 and 67 hundredths times 10. So I'm going to rewrite my number, and then I'm going to move my decimal point over one spot to the right, which will give me a product of 986 and 7/10. Then I'm going to take 98 and 67 hundredths and multiply it by 100, which means now my decimal point is going to have to move two spots to the right to give me a product of 9,867. So on your Google Slides, you're going to type in these products with the option to upload a photo of your handwritten work if that's easier for you. Now we're going to divide 98 and 67 hundredths by 10, which means that my decimal point is going to move one spot in the other direction to make my numbers smaller. So my quotient, or my answer, is going to be 9 and 867 thousandths. For the last problem, I'm going to divide 98 and 67 hundredths by 100, which means my decimal point is going to be moving two spots to the left, and I'm going to end up with a truly tiny quotient, or a truly tiny number, which is, you can either write it like this, or you can round it to the nearest thousandths place. The digit that's in the thousandths place is my 6, which means I'll be using the digit in my 10,000ths place to round. 5 or more go up a floor. So I would round that to 987 thousandths. Okay, now we're going to find an equivalent fraction for 4/12. And in order to find an equivalent fraction, I need to find my greatest common factor so that I can reduce this fraction. Remember, factors are numbers that you multiply together to get a product. So I need to find factors for 4 and factors for 12. Factors for 4 are 1, 2, and 4. And factors for 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. When you guys were in 4th grade, you probably learned to make factor rainbows where you connected the factors that would multiply together to give you a product. 4 is kind of an interesting case because it's a square number, meaning it has two factors that are the same as each other. So I need to look at this list and find the biggest factor that's on both lists. Well, 2 is on both of my lists, but that's not the biggest factor. The greatest or biggest factor that's on both of these lists is actually 4. So I'm going to take my greatest common factor, which for 4 and 12 is the number 4. I'm going to divide my numerator and my denominator by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1, and 12 divided by 4 gives me 3. So my equivalent fraction for 4/12 is 1/3. Now there's lots of other equivalent fractions that I could come up with for this. I could also do 8 out of 24, and that would be equivalent too. But this is just one example of an equivalent fraction. Okay, let's get started with our rounding. We're going to round 234 and 56 hundredths to the nearest 10th place first. So the digit in the 10ths place is a 5, which means I'm going to use the next door digit, which is 6, to round. 5 or more go up a floor, so that means this digit needs to increase by 1. Since my 5 is going to increase by 1, and I'm going to leave these digits alone, this number is going to round to 234 and 6/10. This digit reverts to a 0, so I'm going to just leave it alone. Next, I'm going to round 234 and 56 hundredths to the nearest whole number, or to the ones place. So the 4 is in my ones place, and I'm going to use its next door neighbor in the tenths place to help me round. 5 or more go up a floor. Since this is a 5, my 4 is going to increase by 1. 235 is the nearest whole number to this number. Last, I'm going to round 234 and 56 hundredths to the nearest 10. So I need to find the digit in the tens place, which is here. And the next door neighbor in the ones place is a 4. And remember, 4 or less, let it rest. So this 4 is telling me to let my 3 just stay right where it is. And then all of these other digits revert to zeros.